Hi, listeners, and welcome to the True Crime Weekly podcast, a podcast that is based in San Diego and hosted by me, Alina Trujillo, and my producer, Jose Fernandez. This is a podcast where I will be bringing you stories of murders, infamous cases, and unsolved mysteries. On September 9th, 2017, four friends were getting ready to go to a party at the Crowne Plaza Hotel in Chicago. This was supposed to be a normal night out with friends, but no one could have predicted that one of them would be found in the walk-in freezer of the hotel. This is the story of the mysterious death of Kenneka Jenkins. Okay, so before we get into this story, let me just start off by saying that there's a lot of controversy around this case. Okay, some people say that there's no mystery to this. You know, unfortunately, Kenneka just had a freak accident and closed case. That's it.
Yeah.
But there's also a lot of rumors out there around this case, and there's a lot of speculation that that's not the case. There's a lot of, I guess, reason to have suspicion when you look at photos and you look at this case. So I'm going to leave it up to you and our listeners to come to their own conclusion. You know, was there foul play, or was this just a freak accident, an unfortunate freak accident?
Interesting.
Yeah, so I just want to, put that out there. I'm not saying somebody, murdered her or that there was any wrongful doing. I don't know where I fall when it comes to this case. I can see both sides. But before I can tell you what my sides are, let me just give you a little bit of the background, okay?
Okay.
So on September 9th, 2017, 19-year-old Kenneka Jenkins was on her way to a party with three of her friends. Now, this party was at the Crowne Plaza Hotel in Chicago, and it was the perfect opportunity for Kenneka and her friends to celebrate her new job, okay? Now, Kenneka had just graduated from her Community Christian Alternative Academy and had just gotten a job at a nursing home. Oh, nice. Yeah, now, during my research, I did read that she actually was going to go to school to become a nurse.
Okay.
So just keep that in mind as, we go through this case. Now, the night of the party, Kenneka did not tell her mother where she was going, okay? So instead, she told her that a couple of her friends had invited her to go out bowling and to a movie. So that was the story that Kenneka told her mom.
Yeah, and it's a night out.
Yeah. Now, Kenneka and her friends left the house at about 11:30 p.m. and soon after they reached the hotel party. Now, this party was booked under a fake credit card. And there was approximately 35 people in this one single room hotel.
In one hotel room?
Yeah, in one hotel room. There was about 35 people. And it was, like I said, I read in my research that it was booked under a fake credit card and that even the ID matched that fake credit card. Okay. Now, throughout the night, guests of the party posted on social media. So they were going on Instagram Live and on Facebook Live and, all that. Now, there were Instagram posts, Snapchat stories, and Facebook Lives that showed Kenneka and her friends having a good time, okay? But after a couple of hours, Kenneka and her friends decided it's time to go home. Now, there's actual footage that was provided by the hotel showing the girls walking through the hallway on their way to the exit.
Okay.
And Kenneka seems to be doing fine at this point. I mean, she seemed tired, like typical girls leaving a party, just kind of walking slowly and tired, but she seemed fine. Okay. Now, at this point, Kenneka's friends decide to leave her alone by the elevator while they go and get Kenneka's things, because apparently Kenneka had forgotten her car keys and her cell phone up in the room where the party was going on.
I see. Okay.
So they left her by the elevator.
The three friends.
Alone, and they went and got her things. Okay. Now, I'm not sure as far as the reason why they would leave her alone instead of, hey, let's all go back as a group. I'm not sure. Okay. Now, all three of the girls went back to the party while Kenneka waited for them downstairs. And after they found her things, the girls returned to the elevator, but Kenneka was no longer there.
Really?
Yeah. She was gone. And they searched for Kenneka for 2 hours. But at 4:30 a.m., after being unable to find her, they ended up calling Kanika's mother, Teresa. Now, while her friends were looking for her things back in the hotel room, hotel footage shows Kanika walking away. Okay? And shortly after, more footage shows that all of a sudden, the Kanika that was in the beginning of the footage is now in a bad state.
What do you mean?
Well, now you can see Kanika is stumbling alone through the hotel, barely being able to stand straight. When what's odd, just a few moments ago, she seemed to be doing well. Remember, she seemed fine. But all of a sudden, she's stumbling. She can't stand up straight. And I've seen this footage. It looks really odd.
That's really weird. Why all of a sudden that would change? You know,
right,
if a person's
all of a sudden.
state is, let's say, like you said, hey, described it the ladder. That's not going to all of a sudden be any different over seconds. You know what I mean? I'm assuming maybe she was intoxicated or whatever it may be, right?
And this is one of the things that I find odd. Because, like I said, a few minutes before she was left alone, she was walking fine. But then all of a sudden, when she was left by herself, she can't walk.
That's really
It was
weird.
very odd. And this is, like I said, one of the reasons, and we'll get more into it, you know, why this is so weird. But
And let me ask you, so I didn't see the initial footage that you're talking about where she was fine walking out with her friends, but I did see other clips after that you showed me before, right? So I did see where she was stumbling outside of the elevator. She walked
it was
out.
nothing like that when you first see
Really?
her walking out with her friends. Yeah,
'cause
she
the
was
initial
walking
video-
normal. Like I said, she was walking slow, but I feel like they were all kind of walking slow, just kind of like you do after you're leaving a party. Like us girls, I know you can't understand this, but us girls, like towards the end of the night, we're now walking slow because our heels might be bothering us, but we're still trying to look cute. You know,
Yeah.
I just kind of got that sense when I saw the first video, you know, like, yeah, they're walking a little slow. She's walking a
It's
little
tired.
slow, but
It's late.
It's just tired. It's late, you know?
Yeah, because the video I saw, she was coming out of the, it was like 17 seconds, the first one, right? She's walking outside of the elevator and she's kind of stumbling. Nothing truly out of the ordinary. It seems like she was just maybe had a little bit too much to drink.
Right. Yeah.
And then she starts kind of just roaming around, right?
Well, okay. So in the video, you see Kanika, you see her walking into a part of the Crown Plaza Hotel that's under construction. And obviously guests shouldn't have had access to this area. And while there was signs that say, you know, do not enter, it is assumed that Kanika was maybe too intoxicated to even notice the signs, okay? Because Kanika can be seen walking into one of the kitchens in the hotel that's under construction. So this kitchen is empty.
Yeah.
Okay, there's nothing there. It's just, you know, the steel countertops, but there's really nothing there. And there's this big walk-in fridge, which is something that's odd because a lot of people have brought up the fact, if this is not an operating kitchen, if it's empty, why was the fridge still in operation?
Yeah,
right? But
right.
you do see her go into, you know, this area that's clearly under construction. And after you see her go into the kitchen, the camera kind of loses sight of her. And that's the last time that Kanika was seen alive. I will tell you what happened when they told Kanika's mom, Teresa, that her daughter was missing and they couldn't find her after this commercial break. That was fantastic, Jose. You want to know what I just did?
What'd you do?
I opened up, and you don't get any. I opened up the new wine that I received from Wine of the Month Club. So, do you, Jose, want to treat yourself or someone special to great wines month after month?
I would love to.
Well, now you can with Wine of the Month Club. With Wine of the Month Club, you get 3 different bottles of rare international wine every month. You get to choose from all red, all white, or mixed. You can also choose to do a package every 2 months or 3 months if that's a better option for you. And every package ships with their monthly newsletter covering your selections and our listener favorites. Fun facts.
We are a proud affiliate, which means if you go to truecrimeweeklypodcast.com/support the show and click on the Wine of the Club month link and sign up, we will earn a commission.
You can support the show and get wine delivered to your door by using promo code HOLIDAY15 to get $15 off any 4-month club, or you can use promo code HOLIDAY20 for $20 off any 6 months club, which sounds like a win-win to me. You get to stay home during this COVID-19 pandemic, quarantine by yourself, and your wines.
And they ship free.
What? Hey, Jose. So you know that during this pandemic, it could even be scary to go to the grocery store sometimes?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, you can save yourself that trip using Instacart. Instacart delivers groceries in as fast as 1 hour. Instacart highlights deals to help you save money. They find everything you usually buy. You can get smart suggestions for new items. They even pick the freshest produce, and they keep your eggs safe too.
We are a proud affiliate of Instacart, so head over to truecrimeweeklypodcast.com/support the show and click their link.
Okay, so after Kanika's friends are not able to find her, they end up telling Kanika's mother, Teresa, that they can't find her anywhere. Teresa drove to the hotel at this point. And when she arrives, she obviously tells hotel employees that her daughter's missing, and, you know, she's asking them if they can go through the footage to see if there's any signs of her daughter anywhere.
Yeah.
Just to kind of indicate to see what direction she went.
Yeah, it's a big hotel, I'm sure. So you don't really know what floor, or where she could have gone to.
Right. And remember, Teresa didn't even know that she was going to be at this hotel. She thought bowling and a movie.
Right.
So, but unfortunately, the employees at the hotel told her that they couldn't show her any of the security cameras because there wasn't an actual police report that she had filed. So she had to actually file a police report in order for them to show the security cameras to her.
I mean, I guess I get that. I'm sure there's policy in that stuff and privacy. So I guess I understand that.
Right. Yeah, I do too. I get that. So as soon as they say that to Kanika's mother, Teresa, obviously right away, then she calls 911 to report her daughter missing. And get this, and this was so frustrating, and I hope that, you know, maybe protocols or, you know, whatnot might be different now, because this was in 2017, but when she called 911, the 911 dispatcher actually told her to wait some time.
Like what? Just in case she shows up somewhere?
Well, the 911 operator's quote was, you know, she was at a party in the hotel. She's probably still at the hotel, and she's probably passed out somewhere. And then the 911 operator continued to advise her and said, you should probably just go home and try to relax. Which, I'm sorry, as a mom, you don't tell a mom to go home and relax when their child is missing. Yeah,
no way. This is super late. You didn't expecting this. And then on top of it, I mean, I don't know if the friends told her that she was intoxicated.
You know, that's a good question. And I don't know if they did mention that. Maybe they did. I
can see why they wouldn't if they're in fear of getting in trouble or whatever.
Right.
Because they're 19. Right?
And I do know that the friends, before they ended up calling Kanika's mother, Teresa, they actually did go up to the hotel security and they said, hey, our friend is missing. We can't find her. And they were kind of turned away. So they had already tried to report her and missing to hotel security. So then at that point, when they saw they weren't going to get any help, then that's when they called Kanika's mother, Teresa. And, you know, she got kind of the same attitude from the hotel employees, which was, sorry, we can't help you, go away. And, you know, she calls 911 for help, which is what you're supposed to do. And they tell her to go home and relax, you know.
It's kind of tough because let's say that the hotel staff, right? You have two young women coming to you saying that their friend's missing. They're probably, I'm assuming, I don't know, were they intoxicated too?
Yes.
So I don't know, you know, like how serious can you take it? I could see it both ways. At the same time, the whole footage thing, that it may not be within policy. But then again, look what the outcome was, right? So
well, okay, so after 911 tells Teresa to go home and relax, obviously she doesn't do that. She decides to take matters into her own hands because she sees that nobody's willing to help her at this point, right? So she starts going and knocking on door to door every door of the hotel room.
That's awesome.
Looking for her daughter. It is.
Yeah.
You know, at that point, what are you going to do as a mother? You're going to do everything to try and find your child, make sure they're okay, right? So she starts knocking door to door, asking, you know, have you seen my daughter? And eventually, of course, now hotel calls the police on her because they are saying that she's disturbing
other guests. Who knows what time this is at this point, right? But because
it's late at night,
really early in the morning, probably at this point, right? Wow.
Yeah. So then police officers show up, but in reality, they're showing up to see what's going on with her.
Hey, but at least at this point, she might get heard, and they might actually do something about it, right?
And yeah, and I did read during my research that she actually said that.
Yeah.
She said that when she saw they called the cops on her trying to arrest her after she's trying to look for her daughter, that she knew she had to remain calm so that even the police officers can help her and hear her out. After the police officers showed up, she ended up filing the missing person report with them. And that's when finally hotel security was able to turn over the security cameras over to the police, right? Now, during the investigation of the footage, the police officers saw Kanika walking into the area of the hotel that was under construction, which was that kitchen we talked about.
Yeah.
And they also see her walking towards the back of the kitchen, which is where the walk-in freezer. The walk-in freezer is in. Now, like I said, this kitchen doesn't have anything. So since it was under construction, food and cooking materials were stored at another kitchen.
Yeah. I mean, I saw the video and it looked very, like, just plain, like nothing. Like, you can tell that's what dirty. It is. Yeah, and it doesn't look like in best condition.
Yeah. So that being said, the freezer was still up and running, though.
Yeah, which is weird. I mean, who knows? Maybe you just need to have it on. Maybe it'll break. I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah. Well, this is what I find odd. So police officers are looking at this footage and they're able to see that she goes into the kitchen and she kind of walks out of frame, right? Yeah. Now, during my research I read, and I don't know how true this is, but I read that during that same time frame while they're there, an employee actually walked into that kitchen and into that freezer, and he was the one that found Kanika dead in the freezer. So he's the one that called 911. Now, if you listen to this 911 call, there are a lot of speculation out there because of this employee that made that 911 call, because he does sound pretty calm. But, you know, like I said before in the show, I don't like to judge people because it could have been shock. It could have been...
Yeah, you don't
know how you're going to react.
Right.
You know, not every day do you come across a dead body.
No.
Right? So, to me, I didn't find him being calm as odd. But what I did find really odd is that in the 911 call, I believe it's him that says that he says, I found the subject. And then he changes it to a girl in the freezer.
Subject. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, the word subject to me was just very odd. Like, that's not...
So the first thing that comes to mind...
No, I've never...
the woman, the girl, whatever.
Yeah, I have never found a dead body, but I don't think that, I'm going to call 911 and say, hey, I found the subject. It's going to be, hey, I found a dead body. I found a girl. I found a dead girl. I found, you know what I mean? Not the subject. That to me was just odd, but I don't know what to make of that. It's just odd, right?
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's weird, but like you said, you don't know how a person's going to react or what they're going to say. Okay, right. Fair enough. I mean, I don't know how much you can go into that, right?
Now get this. When Kanika's body was found, Kanika was seen only wearing one shoe.
That's odd.
Yeah. And to me, when you look at these pictures, and for our listeners, I don't want to post the crime scene photos because I don't think that's right. Even though it is public and it's out there, for me, at the end of the day, that's somebody's daughter. And I know it would hurt me to know that, my daughter's crime scene photos are being distributed. So,
yeah.
But if anybody wants to go and look at them, by all means, when you Google her name, unfortunately, those pictures do come up. But warning, they are, pretty graphic, In these pictures, you do see her only wearing one shoe. And to me, and tell me what you thought, Jose, but She's kind of laying right by the door, and she's on her side. Her shoe is off. There's a little bit of blood on that foot that's exposed.
Right.
But to me, it also looked like her pants were maybe a little down. I mean, nothing where it's exposing much, but to me, it just kind of looked that way, which I find very odd, right? But other than that, there were no visible injuries besides, that small cut that she had on the side of her foot. Now, police assumed that since Kanika was intoxicated, she might have accidentally walked into the freezer and was unable to let herself out. Now, I'm talking about these, walk-in freezers, and I don't know if you've ever been into one, but
no, I don't have any experience with those.
So I used to work at a donut shop, and we had those big walk-in freezers in the back. And the handle, it's always like a metal handle, and it has a latch. And they're typically, from what I remember, at least where I used to work, it was kind of hard to open. You did kind of have to pull hard because it was almost kind of like a suction
and
when it
the
would close.
Heaviness of the door, I'm assuming.
Yeah. So usually when I would go in there, I mean, it's freezing in there. It's a freezer.
Right.
I would go in there and grab whatever it was that we needed to get. And usually, yes, the door always automatically closed behind me. And it does sound like it locks. Like
I'd
you
panic.
you hear a click. The first
panic.
time it happened to me, I was like, oh my gosh. But you hear a click, and it's a big, heavy door. So those doors don't stay open. You swing them open, and they'll push back and they'll close.
Because they're meant to keep the cold in, right?
Right.
So,
Now,
makes sense.
These doors usually, when you get, I'm going to say, locked into the freezer, and I'm using air quotes because you're not really locked in there.
Yeah,
but
it's the latch, like
locking again or closing, right?
It gets
but
latched in.
Usually these freezers from the inside, now if you're in there, there's usually like a little knob. And I mean, I don't know if they're all the same, but I'm sure they're not. But the one that I used to work in, we had to push the knob and kind of turn it and push the door open.
So
now,
that would disengage the latch?
Yes. And that's when the door would open. And it wouldn't take long. But, to your point, if you're not familiar with the freezer like that, you've never been in one, hearing the click, and if you're intoxicated, I mean, I'm sure that would cause some panic. And I don't know that anybody else would know that, if they got locked in there. Oh, I just need to push this. Because it kind of does look like a regular knob where you could be turning the knob and the door is not opening, which causes more panic.
In the video, what I saw, that's exactly what it looked like. It looked like a knob. But that's exactly what I was looking at. I was like, all right, how do you, if it closes, are you locked in there? That's what I was thinking. But then you told me that, and I was like, okay, I don't think I'd be able to figure that out.
Now, okay, let's talk about a little bit in this video. Obviously, we went over how you do see all of a sudden she's not able to walk. Okay. Now, for our listeners that haven't seen this video, she does look like something's wrong. To me, she looks like she's dragging her feet. She can't really keep her hands to herself. Like, it's almost like she has to keep on moving her hands. And she is leaning up against the walls a lot, but she's still walking.
Yeah.
As she's leaning on the walls. And then at one point you do see her like kind of almost trip over like a railing. And then you see her grab herself because she was about to fall.
Yeah, she managed to keep herself up.
Yeah, she managed to keep herself up. Now, I'm describing this to our listeners because having that said, and again, I've been inside of these freezers before. These are heavy doors. Somebody that's intoxicated, to me, in my personal opinion, and I'm not saying, that this is what happened to her, but to me, it seems like nearly impossible somebody that's not intoxicated to be able to open a heavy door like that. Especially, like I said, given her condition, she could barely walk. She can barely stand up straight. But I don't know. That's just my opinion. I know that maybe there's people out there who are like, oh no, that means that she probably had, superhuman strength because and that could be the case. Just in my past experiences with alcohol, that hasn't been the case with me. I'm not the strongest, and I usually struggle to open just a regular door.
Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, based on her condition, she was definitely stumbling around.
Yeah,
managed to stay up without falling. It's in the video footage as she was going from room to room. And really just walking around not knowing where to go, which I thought was really odd.
Which is... she looked confused, right?
Yeah.
So it's just, to me, for police to say, or right away assume, oh, she must have accidentally just walked in the freezer and she was unable to open it, and, she accidentally died. That, to me, just kind of doesn't seem possible, because you see this footage of her and how confused she is. It's like, I don't think that she would have even been able to open the door to begin with,
So even open the door to get in, I see.
Yeah, but like I said, maybe that is what happened. I don't know. Right? Now, Kanika's autopsy showed that the only injury that was reported was that cut that she had on top of her foot.
Yeah.
Now, the toxicology report showed that Tanika did have a high level of alcohol in her system.
Okay.
Now, I did read that it was 0.115 or 112. Okay, which is really high, right? Now, they also showed that she had a prescription drug in her system as well called topiramate. Now, topiramate is a drug that's often used for people that suffer from epilepsy or migraines.
Really interesting.
Now, usually with this drug, when you mix it with alcohol, it does have side effects such as confusion and dizziness, which is now kind of, to me, starting to make sense as to why she was walking that way and why, she looked confused.
Yeah.
Like, didn't know where she was or what was going on. Now, it seems because obviously the amount of alcohol she had, and because of this drug, right? Now that's what caused her to be acting like that.
Right.
But get this, Kanika has never been prescribed that drug, according to her mother, Teresa.
That's weird.
And this drug is not that type of drug. It's not a party drug that you just, let me take it and have a good time. I mean, it's for epilepsy and migraines.
Yeah, it's not something you normally abuse.
Right. So to me, it sounds, reading on the side effects of it and what can happen when you take it with alcohol, to me it sounds a little like a rape drug, like a day rape drug, something you can probably slip into somebody's drink, because if it's going to cause confusion, dizziness, to me it's like she probably wouldn't even have had a fighting chance. Again, I'm not saying that, somebody slipped or anything. This is just where my mind is going as I'm going through this case. Okay.
I understand, because it's so odd, right? One, like you said, again, I didn't see the footage of where she was with her friends. But if she was not walking the way she did in the other footage, I wonder if that drug was just recently taken. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then by the time that they walked away and left her alone, now it was really kicking in with a high level of alcohol. And now it's like, whoa, what's going on? I'm here by myself. Where's everybody?
Yeah. Now, they did say that her cause of death was hypothermia. Okay, because she was locked in the freezer. Now, in the pictures, in the crime scene pictures, you do see, obviously she doesn't have a shoe. And some people say that it looks like her shirt is lifted up. To me, it's hard to tell, to be honest, because to me, it kind of looked like she was wearing a crop top.
Yeah.
So it wasn't necessarily that, it was pulled up. I didn't see
anything odd with that.
I don't know. But, some people did think, okay, well, if we go with that theory of she died of hypothermia, some people say that explains why Kanika's shirt was pulled up. And, why maybe her shoe was off, because, right before you die of hypothermia, they say that, I believe it's the last stage or the last stages where you feel like you're hot. So you start undressing yourself.
It's so weird. Yeah.
So there are some people out there that think, okay, well, maybe the hypothermia is the explanation why she didn't have her shoe and why her clothes kind of look like, they had been moved around. Maybe that's what she was trying to do.
Yeah.
The manner of death was ruled accidental. Now, this case was really popular on social media, and people began making theories of their own. Even Kanika's mom believes that there was foul play involved, to be honest. And Teresa made an appearance on the Dr. Oz show to talk about her daughter's untimely death. And she explained that she did not think it was an accident at all. You know, she talked about how Kanika had never been prescribed topiramate. And, you know, there's also, like I said, this case went viral on social media because, remember, during the party when it was going on, they were going on Facebook Live.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Now, I did look through these videos that people are speculating, and they're saying that, you know, you can see Tamika and she's asking for help, and there's all this kind of like odd clues that kind of add up to foul play. I saw the video, and, you know, it's a video of one of the friends, and you kind of don't really see Tamika. You more hear her than see her. Okay. In one of the clips, you hear her say, "Girl, I'm not drunk," which is, you know, drunk language for I'm drunk.
Yeah.
You know, usually.
Right.
And then you also, something that people have pointed out in this video is that along with her saying that, you also hear somebody telling her you need to relax, or you need to just chill or have a good time, something like that. And she says, "I am having a good time. I'm having fun." And then along within the same video, people say that you can hear her say, "Help me." And then all of a sudden the music comes up loud. So then at this point now you don't hear anything other than the music. And in this same video, you can see a friend of her saying or mouthing the words, "Help me."
That's weird.
Yeah. Now, like I said, I went through these videos. I can't hear her say, "Girl, I'm not drunk." I didn't hear in the videos, I didn't hear somebody tell her to chill or whatever it was. I didn't hear that part. And the only other thing I did hear is I did hear "help me," but it's such a weird transition because it's almost like you hear like a squeal. I don't know how to describe it. And then all of a sudden, bam, the music comes out long.
Yeah.
Like really loud, I mean. So it's hard to tell, but I mean, it's definitely weird and it's odd, which is why this case was just brought up to light, you know?
Well, tell me this, like, if you, obviously you heard that you read that speculation. If you would have just seen the video without knowing that, just unbiased, would you think that anything weird was going on?
I don't think so. I honestly, just looking at that video without me knowing what it is, I would have just thought, oh, you know,
They're just having
people,
fun.
Yeah, it's just people at a hotel party.
Yeah, that's.
I don't know that I would have even, you know, I probably would have heard the "girl, I'm not drunk."
Yeah.
You know, but I don't know that I would have heard all the other extra stuff.
Right. So
but it is odd, and like I said, I'm curious to see where our listeners fall in this case. Like I said, this is a close case. This is a close case.
Yeah,
it's an accidental death. There's no foul play. They say that there's no foul play. I mean, there's really no injury other than that small cut on her foot. You know, to me, it's just, I really don't know where I fall because I can see both things. Like I said, I've worked and I've in a place where I've had to go into freezers like that. And it's funny because, you know me, I'm clumsy. I fall out of thin air. Like, there's nothing in front of me and I fall.
Right.
Now, when I used to have to go into these freezers, these doors are really heavy. Okay. And I used to always get my foot caught on that darn door all the time. And I would almost fall. But it's weird because the shoe is kind of, I don't want to say really far apart from her body, but it is at a distance.
It's at least a good 6 to 9 feet away.
Right?
Right? I mean, that's
to
what
me,
I remember
it's
seeing
like,
the picture.
I know the times I've gotten my foot caught in a freezer like that. It doesn't fly out of my foot. It just kind of, you know, comes off my heel. And I've even cut myself too, but it's in my heel.
Yeah.
Her cut was kind of like on the side of her foot.
Right. It was exactly on the side.
And, you know, for the shoe to be that far away, I don't know. You know, again, for anybody that wants to go and look at the crime scene photos, you know, to me, it's also her clothing seemed really dirty. which I
But
found
the
kind of
freezer
odd.
was really dirty too.
The freezer was really dirty, but to me, I don't know. It just seemed like maybe she was dragged. But then again, that theory doesn't make sense in my head either, because you clearly see her walking by herself and you see her going into the freezer by herself and you don't see anybody else. So it's like, okay, she couldn't have been dragged, but why are her pants that dirty?
Yeah. And I'm sure there wasn't any other like footage of anybody else going in there, right?
No, okay, so the security cameras in the kitchen, they were censored. So I read in my research that one camera, it turned on when she walked in.
Okay.
At one time. And then a few hours later, the camera turned back on. Mm-hmm. Because somebody else happened to stumble in there. But they did say that the person that just stumbled in there, they didn't even make it to the freezer. They kind of stumbled into the kitchen, looked around like, oh crap, I'm not supposed to be here. I don't know where I'm at. Turned around and walked back out. Mm-hmm. So to me, that's also another red flag. Because to me, I'm like, okay, so clearly this is an area where guests are not supposed to be.
Right.
And I get it, you know, maybe she was intoxicated, so she didn't realize that. But another guest walked in there, like 2 people. To me, that's kind of like, maybe you should have blocked it off better.
Late at night, right?
Yeah. It's like you should have blocked it off better, or I don't know. That to me seems kind of odd. Like maybe it was a confusing hotel. I don't know. Maybe. But let me just say that her mother, Teresa, did file a $50 million lawsuit against the Crowne Plaza Hotel. And she stated that the party should have been shut down since there were many noise complaints from other guests. And also that the area under construction should have been completely closed off to guests, just how we're saying, which I totally agree. And I actually couldn't find what ended up happening with the lawsuit. I don't know if it's still going on. It could possibly still be going on. I'm not sure, but I really hope that, you know, she wins this, because to me it's true, you know, whether if it was an accidental death or not, the hotel should have definitely done a better job at blocking an area that's under construction, quote unquote. Yeah. I mean, she was able to walk in there and somebody else was able to walk in there. So whatever it is that you're doing, it ain't working. Mm-hmm. You know?
And the freezer, like, you'd think it should have a sign on how to get out of that thing.
Yeah, and I believe by law, you do have to have instructions inside as to how to operate it.
Sure didn't look like there were any in the pictures that I saw.
In my research, I actually read that there was, but that you couldn't read them. You couldn't see them. Like, it was, to me, like faded out. So to me, it's like, that's another violation.
Yeah.
You know? And I still can't understand, why was the freezer on? Yeah. If there was nothing in there in the pictures, you can see there's nothing in there. There's no stove. Mm-hmm. But yet, let's leave the freezer on? Yeah. I mean, I don't know. That to me is odd.
It's a really odd case. I mean, honestly, in my opinion, it feels like it really was an unfortunate accident. Okay. She probably stumbled in there and didn't know how to get out. Right? I mean, that's
no
I
foul
can see
play.
That.
So you think there's no foul play?
I think the foul play was with the paramedic, right? Like somebody gave her that. Whether it was out of, I don't know, just, hey, maybe this will make you relax a little bit because you're not having fun. I don't know. Maybe something like that.
Yeah,
and maybe it was not in a certain way to then take advantage of her later on. Who knows, right?
Just kind of help her. I mean, I don't think that drug is something that would relax you, but I don't know. I mean, maybe you're right. I actually went through a theory like that through my head. But let me just say that, you know, she was going to school to be a nurse. Having that said, I did read in my research that she was the type of person that didn't like taking pills or taking anything like that, meaning any drugs.
So it lends more to the reason that somebody slipped it in, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that.
So
that's what I'm trying to say. The foul play is there. It's not, hey, something happened in the, at least to me, that something happened. There was somebody there and you know, locked her in there, or that there was foul play inside the freezer. I think she got in there, was maybe too intoxicated based on the alcohol and that medication to figure out how to get out. And it was probably just an unfortunate thing. And
So you don't think anybody murdered her?
I don't.
Okay.
Not purposefully.
Yeah.
Just based on what I saw in the crime scene, I don't think so. I mean, her being in that position in the freezer seems like, okay, yeah, it's kind of like you're freezing cold and you're out of like, well, I don't know what to do. And on top of it, I can't function normally.
Yeah.
Mentally and physically.
Right.
So the shoe, that's kind of weird. But I'm sure there's got to be an explanation. If your shoe got stuck on that thing as you were trying to get in there and you were fully conscious of and knowing what's going on.
But I'm also very clumsy.
Fine. But she was clumsy in that state that she was too,
Right.
though, right?
Right. It's interesting. Like I said, I still don't know where I fall with this case. Clearly, I find it interesting, your thoughts, and I can side with you, and I can also side with all the other people that are saying, no, there's something more. So I'm interested to see what our listeners think. So, hopefully we'll hear from them on our Instagram and see what they have to say, whether if it was accidental or if they think that there was actual foul play.
And there's one thing that's I find very eerie about big buildings and roaming around by yourself through halls that you don't know about.
Well, I mean, you shouldn't be roaming around by yourself.
I know, but like she had no control. You can tell that she couldn't tell where she was going, or she had you don't even know where or why. But to me, it's like, it's just there's a weird vibe to me of walking around a building like that and not knowing.
Yeah, and I mean,
where you're going.
I don't want to say that anybody did anything wrong, but to me, I'm like, why would her friends leave her alone? Like, why wouldn't they all stick in a group? Yeah. And like I said, I'm not trying to blame anything. I'm not trying to say that anybody did anything wrong. I'm not trying to blame anybody. That's just my initial thought. You even saying that there's something creepy about that. I would leave you alone.
I wouldn't be left alone.
But I'd be hiding in the corner, like recording you to see you freak out, and then I'd probably like come out of the corner and scare you. So I would leave you alone.
What I think about is the episode of the Cecile Hotel, and I was like, oh, no, thank you. Creepy.
So please let us know. What do you guys think? Was it an accidental death, or was there actual foul play? If you want to look at pictures and want more information on the cases we cover, you can head over to truecrimeweeklypodcast.com. You can also follow us on Instagram at Podcast True Crime Weekly. And please don't forget to support the show by going to truecrimeweeklypodcast.com/support the show. And I would truly love it and appreciate it if you would leave a 5-star review and subscribe onto Apple Podcasts or wherever you like to listen. The only way that people find out about us is through subscribers and reviews. Thanks for listening.